Hey, what's up, you guys? This is AJ coming to you once again from the Thwip side, and thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Side Notes, a weekly series where I talk about action figures, movies, comics, TV shows, or as my wife likes to put it, talking about my nerdy crap. Now, I have a lot to cover today, so I'm just going to hop right in. Kicking things off, I have my only action figure pickup for the week, and it's a great one. It's the Mcfarland Mandarin Spawn Walmart exclusive gold label. This crappy picture I threw in here real quick for the video doesn't do it justice, but he looks incredible. I do have better pictures up on Instagram, and we'll have more probably tonight or tomorrow, and a review coming soon. Really excited about this figure. Staying on the topic of action figures, there were tons of pre-order announcements this week, and one of the most exciting things for me was the announcement that there were more Plunder Rings up for pre-order. For those of you who may not know, the Plunderlings are fun little goblin action figures dressed as pirates. They were a product of a big, successful Kickstarter campaign and were pretty much immediately sold out, and they command outrageous prices on eBay. But I was happy to see today that on some online sites they are back up for pre-order. I myself have pre-ordered 3. They just look fun, fantastic. I just, something about them makes me want to own them all, and I'm excited to be able to have pre-ordered some. If you are at all interested, I would suggest to get your pre-order in right away, because I don't think they are going to last that long. There was nothing really new with Marvel Legends this week, but Hasbro did reveal a comic book wave for the Star Wars Black series. To be honest with you, I'm not that interested. The only one that I'm thinking about picking up is a Darth Maul. The other ones, one is a repaint of Luke, and the other 2 are just comic characters I'm not really interested in, but there you are for anybody that wants one. What I'm really excited for is I want to hear a release announcement for Geode from the High Republic. Funko absolutely made my week when they revealed that they were releasing Seinfeld Pops and Mini Moments. Seinfeld is my all-time favorite sitcom. I just love that show. I rewatch it even to this day. And I'm just super excited for all of these. The Pops, there's different styles of the characters, and who doesn't want a soup Nazi? And they have also a line of Mini Moments where you get different little characters, either George or whatever from the show, and they all come with a piece of Jerry's apartment, so you can build that, and you can bet that that will be on my mantle. I seriously cannot wait for these to release, and I don't have to wait long because the release date is May, so I've got a couple more months for all the Seinfeld goodness that I could ever want. Moving on to Mcfarland Toys, the Todd father had a really busy week, so buckle up for this long ride. Kicking things off with Mortal Kombat, on the Mcfarland Toys website, they have images of the up-and-coming Noob Saibot, Cabal, and Spawn, all due this summer. Even though Covenant Spawn is yet another Spawn repaint, I am going to pick him up. His color scheme is just too awesome for me not to have on my shelf. I just really love that color scheme. Cabal's another one of my favorites from the MK games, and going by this image, he looks like he's going to be awesome, so once again, another definite pickup for me. Saving the best for last, we have Noob Saibot. I absolutely love this character. He's my main character in MK11, and the images just show how fantastic this figure is going to look and going to be. He's absolutely amazing looking, and I absolutely can't wait to get him. I check every day to see if the pre-orders are up. Just going to be a kick-ass figure. Moving over to DC Multiverse, pre-orders went up for Bizarro, Green Lantern John Stewart, and the Injustice 2 Flash and Gorilla Grodd. All these figures look incredible. I have them all on pre-order, and I cannot wait for them to get to my house. It's also nice to see Todd expand a little bit with other characters that aren't Batman. But hold on to your utility belts, because Batman Beyond is due out, I believe, in early April, and he is definitely a pickup for me as well. The amount of accessories that he comes with is just awesome. And last but not least, conveniently in time for the Snyder Cut, was the announcement for pre-orders for Justice League movie action figures, and they look really cool too. I want to get these guys, except for maybe Steppenwolf. He never really interests me, but they look awesome, especially Darkseid. And what a perfect way to transition over to my thoughts on the Snyder Cut itself. Right here, I want to drop a spoiler warning because there may be some, so continue watching at your own risk. And this was a strange movie for me because I still don't know exactly how I feel about it. I mean, at the beginning, I was bored to tears where I was going to like turn it off, but I decided to keep going. And then by the end, I felt kind of satisfied. I'm still trying to sort it all out, but I'll go over some points about the movie itself, and maybe by then, just speaking to you guys, I can come to a conclusion of how I really feel. I will start off by saying I thought it was cool that they redesigned Steppenwolf from the original release because he looked terrible in the first release, but I don't know, he doesn't look that much better in this release. But maybe that's just due to me not being really interested in the character. I also thought that it was great that we finally got to see Superman in the black suit, and it looked really cool in the movie as well. A lot of the first half of the movie was about adding backstory for the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman, but I think it was too dragged out and was very dull at times, and that's what made the first half of the movie very boring to me. And I think that boredom came from I know the backstory of these characters, so I didn't need 2 hours of backstory for them. I understand that other people might not know the characters as well as I do, but to me it just was way too long and dragged out. But at least we got to see Barry use the Speed Force, and maybe, just maybe, we'll finally get that Ezra Miller Flashpoint movie they keep talking about. As for Aquaman, we got more Atlantis scenes that I didn't really care for. I don't think they did anything to enhance the movie. And the one thing that really bummed me out is that Jason Momoa's character was the funniest character in the original cut and got rid of some of the depressing tone of the movie and that to me is much needed. And a lot of the best parts were cut out, and that's quite a shame because could have really used it. I love that lasso scene when he had to tell the truth in the original. Not to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but again, Cyborg's backstory was too drawn out and bored me, mostly probably because I know the character, but at least we got to see a little bit of relationship with his father and how that dynamic was. And also, I am happy to say that I like how he had a much bigger role in the Snyder Cut than in the original because he was definitely underutilized in the original. I love the reveal of the Martian Manhunter. I love that character, and I'm hoping he shows up in future DC movies because he looked fantastic, and I love the actor who plays him. I believe it's the same actor who played him in Smallville. I could be wrong, though. And just like everybody else, I was really pumped to see Darkseid. He looked amazing, and I loved all the scenes with him, and he didn't even do that much, just sat there or stood there looking badass. I mean, except for the fight scene in the beginning. But yeah, I'm hoping he shows up just like Martian Manhunter in a future movie because it'd be sad if he didn't. I really loved the Nightmare World scenes. Gave me some serious Injustice 2 vibes. It was cool to see Batman working with Deathstroke, but also a big surprise to see him working with Joker. They played off each other really well. And yeah, I'd watch a movie just about the Nightmare World because the Injustice story is cool, and that looked like it was really cool, and that could make for a really awesome movie. So bottom line for me is I have serious mixed feelings about this movie. The first half, like I said, bored me to tears, and the second half really ramped up. Do I think it's an improvement of the first one? Yes and no. Just by adding 2 extra hours doesn't make a movie better. It depends on what you do with it, and I think a lot of the extra stuff was unnecessary and just dragged it out. But there was some good stuff in there, like how I mentioned Martian Manhunter, even some of the extra scenes with the Justice League themselves. I can't stand that they cut the humor out because the thing about Zack Snyder's DC movies, I've always felt are way too depressing, even as far as the soundtrack. Superman had the most depressing, or Man of Steel, I should say, had the most depressing vibe in a movie that I've seen in a long time at that point. And I just think it could have used some upbeat tones, and cutting out a good deal of the humor. What little humor there was in the first release, I think, was a mistake. Would I watch it again? I don't even know if I'd watch it again. It was fine for what it was. I was entertained at the end, but I don't know if I could sit through it again. Maybe start in the second half I could, but yeah, I couldn't. I don't think I could watch all 4 hours again. So it's a win for the fans to have that happen, to make it happen, but yeah, I just didn't enjoy as much as I wanted to. But wait, kids, because there's more. We still have to talk about episode 1 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Once again, spoiler alerts, so don't watch if you don't want to be spoiled about the episode. And I will start off by saying that I'm not paying attention for this series to any rumors or leaks, because I don't want it to tarnish my feelings about the show like the rumors and leaks kind of did with WandaVision. I still like that show, but felt let down. But that the hype, like I've said in my WandaVision reaction, it's very difficult for shows or movies that are as hyped as these shows get to be totally satisfying, but the rumors and leaks don't help. So I'm staying away from that and just going to take every episode in as it's presented to me and not pay attention to that stuff, so that way it'll help my feelings on the overall show. We start the episode with Sam relinquishing the Captain America shield back to the government because he feels that Steve is the only Captain America. And I thought it was also cool we got to see Sam in action, saving a soldier from a new group, terrorist type group called, I believe, the Flag Smashers. So there was some good action in the episode. I also thought it was really cool that we got to see both of these guys and how they go about daily life as regular people when they're not being superheroes. I always think it's interesting when they do that in shows and movies if it's done well. And I thought it was cool seeing Sam with his family. Then we see Bucky freshly pardoned for his activities as the Winter Soldier and seeing a therapist and trying to come to terms with his actions as the Winter Soldier. He befriends a man who doesn't know it, but Bucky killed when he was the Winter Soldier, and we see him struggle trying to get into normal everyday life. And I thought it was pretty cool and interesting to see heroes and what they do in their downtime, I guess, is interesting. I'll say it again, if done right. And I really like that. We got to see Sam and his family. Like I said, didn't work out. They were trying to get a loan from the bank, and that was a disaster to save their family's shrimp boat company. But yeah, I really like that. I like seeing that in shows. We did get some flashback scenes of Bucky as the Winter Soldier, and I always thought he looked really cool when he was like the evil Winter Soldier. So that was good to see. Then Sam gets a huge slap in the face by Uncle Sam to find out that this douche has been given the shield and granted the title of Captain America. I didn't know at the time, but that's a character that is the U.S. agent. I would have liked to see Sam and Bucky together in the episode, but not once were they together. I was kind of hoping for that off the bat, but we'll see where the story goes. But that would be my one nitpick of the episode. So there's my recap of episode 1 for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I really liked the episode, except for that one little nitpick about how I thought Sam and Bucky should have been together from the start in a way, or very soon into the episode. But I really liked the setup. I liked what the characters were up to and their motivations at the time. I just like seeing that type of thing. And hopefully they reunite in episode 2, because they better, or then I'll start really grumbling. But yeah, great first episode in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to next Friday for episode 2. I'm hoping by the end of the series, either Bucky or Sam get the Cap shield, because that douche, I don't want him to have it. He just looks like a douche. I don't know much about U.S. Agent, but I don't know, for some reason it really pissed me off when they did that. I was like, sure, Sam did all that because he thought it was the right thing to do, and of course, leave it to the government to screw somebody. So that will do it for this week's episode of Side Notes. Make sure you drop me a comment. Tell me what you thought of the Winter Soldier and the Falcon, or the Snyder Cut, or what you're excited about for figure pickups, or what you thought about the figures I had shown that are up and coming, or just anything for our nerdy crap, as my wife calls it. And while you're at it, please consider subscribing, share, like, and thwip that notification bell. And I'll see you all again back here on the thwip side.